What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Mark here with the Better Mark. Let's break down the Tuesday, April 30th Major League Baseball betting card. All right, I'll give you guys 3 official plays that I'll be on for today's games. As always, you know the rules. Make sure you guys all subscribe down below. Smash that like button and let me know what your plays are for these evening games, okay? We need to talk about yesterday a little bit. We had kind of a mixed bag. So just a quick recap, 2 and 3 going within yesterday's contest. We got it done within the Dodgers and the plus money price within the Washington Nationals. It was a dud within the Yankees Orioles. Also, controversial ending within the Brewers game. That was the correct call. My frustration was the fact that the umpire made that call in the moment. We've seen a lot more egregious contact with the catcher and back-to-back games within the Brewers that we've seen the outcomes kind of dictated by the umpires late in those games. But as we all know, the umpires are not responsible for the Brewers only scoring 0 runs. Okay, they had a lot of chances to win the game. So we're not going to dwell on the past, keep moving forward. And then the last one was the likes of the Phillies blowing a late lead against the Los Angeles Angels. So shout out to a lot of you guys that were on. One of the subscribers out there, I can't remember your name, I apologize. Turned me on to the over team total 4.5. So congrats on that one. I know you said you were hammering that, but just barely cashing as the Phillies lost 5-6. Okay, but enough about yesterday. Let's get into today's games and let's get down into the picks. Okay, this is where we're going to take a dive into the odds jam. St. Louis and Detroit, a little bit of a doubleheader today. Within that first game, Kyle Gibson, Jack Flaherty. This is one where I don't like to play doubleheaders, especially the second game. It might be a staffing. The pitchers are still to be determined for the Tigers. So no real true feel or indication in these. I really try to stay away from doubleheaders. The only way I get into them, honestly, is if it's such an egregious pitching discrepancy and or if it's a little bit of a zigzag where you like the team to win. Probably even both games, and they lose the first one, you might get on them for the second game. The statistical odds of losing both games of a doubleheader are very, very slim over the course. That's a system I like to play, but no official play in these games. All right. The next one up is the Nestor Cortez, Dean Kramer. That's what we have going on. I actually think it's Kramer. Apologies. But Creamer's more funny anyways. But that's what we have going on with the Yankees and Orioles game. We look into last night, like I said, it was a dud. Orioles winning 2-0. That doesn't happen too often where we have such a low-scoring game. So I look for a little bit more of some return to normalcy where we look for that over 9 to possibly come into play within this. Nestor Cortez, despite being one of those, the all-star outspoken pitcher of times past, he's been kind of rough and rocky, giving up 3.5 ERA. And Kramer, on the other hand, 4.61 ERA, had an outstanding start his last time out, 1-2 on the season. So I'm going to stay away from this one. I can't really. I don't want to get behind Kramer. He blanked the Angels pretty much for the most part, giving up a couple home runs, I think, last time out, but pretty much a dominant performance for him. I think they just kept him in a little bit long. And Nestor Cortez is kind of one of those Jekyll and Hyde pitchers. So I'm going to stay away from this game, but I would lean towards taking the over 9 in this contest. All right. Next one is the Rockies and Marlins. Sixto Sanchez, Ryan Feltner. One where we look for some runs being scored in this one, despite what we saw from the Marlins last night, losing to the Washington Nationals. Over 7.5, definitely something that I'd consider, as well as taking the Colorado Rockies on the money line plus 120. But these are just games between two teams with bad pitchers, bad matchups, kind of a weird, West goes East kind of thing within Colorado traveling to Miami. It's just a weird game, so I'm going to stay away from this one as well, and no official play. Okay, next one out there we will have an official play on. We're going to get into the likes of Kansas City and the Blue Jays. Okay, so this is one where they just recently played, and honestly, I think it was the same exact matchup. Okay, so when this happens, a lot of times it's very hard for basically lightning the strike twice. Jose Barrios, one of the Cy Young candidates for this season. So this is pretty much an exact rematch of the game from last Thursday, I believe. And this is where we look for the Blue Jays to absolutely destroy Royals left-handed pitchers, even though Cole Reagan's kind of a sneaky little start to the season, but still 1-2 on the season, 3.9 ERA. Gets a lot of strikeouts, but we look for the Blue Jays to score some runs. So we're going to lock them in on a price of minus 131. That's the best number out there that I can find this AM. Okay, so that'll be my first official play. Next one is another great pitching matchup: Sean Manaea, Javier Assad, Cubs and Mets. Okay, this is something where we look into this game being played at Citi Field, and the number is kind of a little bit interesting. Okay, we have a plus 120 price for the Cubs, backing Assad. I would lean towards taking the Cubs. I think that he's going to go deep into the game. I wouldn't even be surprised if you want to get back within some pitcher props. I think this is a great spot for Hassad. Also, kind of not a big Sean Manaea fan, so I fade him from time to time. But almost made the card, so I would lean towards taking Cubs plus 120, but no official play. All right, next game out there is the Logan Webb, Cooper Criswell matchup within what we're seeing within the Boston-San Francisco Giants game. Okay, and for some reason this is not on the card. Interesting. Yeah, my apologies. It is off the board within oddsjam, so I'm going to have to just tell you guys exactly what's going on without using a graphic. So my apologies. But we are seeing Boston plus 112 favorites. Cooper Criswell on the bump. These are great pitchers, great ERAs. Something where we look in, though, some of the stuff going on, tons of guys on the IL for both teams here. I'm going to stay away from this game. I would lean towards taking Boston. This is something where Logan Webb, kind of a misleading pitching statistics. I know he's 3-1, 2.33 ERA. But I look in this game and I could see the Giants coming out and winning this one on the road. So I would lean towards taking the Giants, but no official play. This is a true coin flip. So within this matchup, I would like to just take a plus price. So that's what we'll look for within taking the Red Sox plus 112. That would be kind of where my head would be at in this matchup. Even Boston laying a steep price at minus 152 on the run line, taking them at a price of plus 1.5 is kind of interesting as well. Great parlay candidate in my opinion. Okay, but no official play. All right, Twins White Sox. So this has been kind of an interesting story. We've seen the White Sox basically destroy some statistical bad performance to start the season, right? We've looked at some recent games. I think if you do their last 3 or last 5 games and taking their average, they swept the team. They're averaging 7 runs a game. Simeon Woods Richardson, a great pitcher statistically, but Michael Soroka, not even close. So 0-3, 6.8 ERA, kind of a horrible start for him to start off his season. So I would obviously think that will all come to an end. I know it's a lot of money laying a minus 160 price on the road, but this is something where you could find some value just fading the White Sox and the run they've been on. They're still 6-23, so you could absolutely get behind a very kind of heavy minus 160 price and lay it with the Twins here. That's something that interests me. I'd also probably will lean towards the over 8.5. It might be a tick too low. So that's kind of where my head's at within this game. All right, but no official play. Next game is Tampa Bay and Milwaukee. This is one where we look for Milwaukee possibly to bounce back. Minus 142. Freddie Peralta pitching had a kind of a rocky start his last time out. Another Cy Young candidate that we could possibly see here within this matchup. Okay, I would lean towards taking the Brewers. I don't want to get behind this minus 142 price. However, I really do like the Brewers, especially with their last 2 games having the misfortune that they've had and then coming off of losses and then a bad outing for Peralta. Look for a little bit of a chip on their shoulder in this one, and Tyler Alexander is a great pitcher to go against to get the job done. So I would lean towards taking the Brewers within Freddie Peralta. It's just kind of a high price for me at what we're looking at. At a price of minus 142, best number out there. All right, so no official play. All right, next one is the Nationals and Rangers, Mackenzie Gore and John Gray. This is something where we've seen this matchup time and time again. The Nationals are kind of sneaky. All right, they're 500 ball club. I would actually have to lean towards taking the Nationals. I don't like betting against the Rangers in their own ballpark. Nationals, for that matter, they've been kind of putting up some runs lately. So this is something where Mackenzie Gore, will he go deep in the game? How much outs can he bring home? This is something where I would lean towards taking the Nationals. I think it's a value play, going back to that well. Keeping their momentum going. Momentum's a big thing when you bet baseball. Plus 133 on that price and a run line of minus 155. But that one didn't make my card either, so no official play. All right. And then the next one is we're going to get into the Philadelphia Phillies, Los Angeles Angels. Big lean towards taking the Phillies in this one again, especially losing last night in heartbreaking fashion, 6-5. Spencer Turnbull going against Tyler Anderson. Phillies have great success against left-handed pitching, and we see Spencer Turnbull 1.33 ERA. I don't think this number's handicapped correctly. Minus 130 is a little low, especially with what happened last night. And you could get behind that team total once again for the Phillies if you want to do so. But no official play for me, did not make my card. Then we'll get into the second official play. All right, I'm going to skip around a little bit, but we are going to get to the Guardians-Houston Astros game, okay? Something where we're going to just fade Hunter Brown, okay? I know Carrasco probably will give up some runs in this matchup, but Hunter Brown, 10 ERA, 0-4. We saw what the likes of the Astros were able to do in Mexico City, scoring a lot of runs in that regard. But this is something where they're coming back home. They're still a 9-19 ball club, and the Guardians are, a top 5 baseball team by all accounts in terms of MLB power rankings, and that's kind of where we're at with that. So we're going to get into the Guardians at a plus 132 money line price. I just think that's extreme value. I think Carrasco can hold them off enough, and I think the Indians will get to Hunter Brown early. So let's go with the Guards at a price of plus 132 in that matchup, okay? And then the next one is the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. This is a game where the Dodgers, like I said, we called that one last night. The Dodgers bats, for all accounts, I think are waking up. I think this is where you can even look at this price, minus 107. That is just so juicy. If you look back at last season, I think I bet the Dodgers run line probably 20 games in a row, and I think they cashed maybe at an extreme rate. It's just a system play for me. The Dodgers are a play for the whole course of the season. That's how I view it. That's how I've done it in times past. And this is just something where we look at this one, minus 107, where the Dodgers are at. I know they're 19-12, but it doesn't feel like it. I think their bats are waking up as well, and the Diamondbacks are kind of a little bit shaky starting their season, a little bit of a slump following last year's World Series. So I would lean towards taking the Dodgers. It's a little fishy, though. Minus 107 is a touch too cheap, so I'm going to stay away from this one despite really trying to get behind the Dodgers train moving forward. Okay, 3 games left. Let's get into the Pirates and Athletics. This is something where we have Alex Wood and Mitch Keller. Look for a lot of runs in this game. Big ERAs, big pitchers going. Kind of a letdown spot in a way. If we talk about what's going on within these two ball clubs, the Pirates have since regressed 14-16 after that hot season start. And this is something where you look at just they're struggling right now to hit the ball. So I'm not going to get behind it. I probably would lean towards taking the over, but there are some pitching matchup statistics that just kind of make me want to stay away from this game a little bit. And being out with that East-West and just kind of the way that the Athletics are playing right now, I would actually lean towards taking them on the money line and in that over, but no official play for me in this game. All right, the Reds and Padres, Yu Darvish, Nick Martinez. This is something where we can look into this game and talk about Yu Darvish and what he's been able to do, but not really a start to his season in which we look for, the Yu Darvish of old, where he's always up for the running for the Cy Young consideration. I'm not going to get behind this game. All right, that's just kind of where I'm feeling. So I'm going to stay away from this one. I don't like betting the Padres, in full disclosure. We do throw them there from time to time. This is a game, though, where we look at the number. I think the 7.5 is just way too low for a total. I think that Yu Darvish is always good to give up 4 runs. I think the Reds can put up 4, and I think the Padres can get to Nick Martinez, and that cashes over 7.5. That's just my take. So I would lean towards taking the over, but I'm not, like I said, I'm going to stay away from the side in that game. And then the final game on the card where we're going to have up on the board here is the Atlanta Braves Seattle Mariners game. I think this is way too low of a number. I'm probably going to play the Braves money line and the run line, okay? For those of you that don't like doing that, that's okay. It's kind of an insurance policy. The Braves have been giving up a lot of runs as of late in the game. So I am going to be taking the run line and extreme price at plus 141, as well as the likes of the money line at minus 126. I think the Braves behind Ronaldo Lopez get the job done. Luis Castillo gives up a lot of runs, and within a very favorable hitting ballpark, I think the Braves get it done in extreme fashion. Blowout potential, kind of a sneaky blowout game. I have brewing in the cards, but within this 9:40 first pitch, we are going to be behind Ronaldo Lopez in the Braves minus 1.5, as well as the money line. Hopefully, we can cash those tickets. Okay, get them both to cash. But that's what I got for you guys in today's matchups. Let's bounce back in a strong way. I know it's crazy. 2-3, we need to bounce back. That's why you take some plus money in baseball. It reduces the unit cost. And we are able to kind of minimize losses doing that as well. So, over the course of the season, a lot of people, want to look back, and I don't really post my history up on the screen, but for those of you that have been betting with me for a while, the run we had in April, we got pretty much of a good cushion. So 2-3s aren't going to kill us. And we're going to keep moving forward, keep cashing tickets, and look to get back into the green territory today within a, let's go 3-0, 4-0. Let's get a sweep going. So that's what I got. I hope you guys are all doing well. Let's go cash some tickets tonight. Like I said, enjoy the NBA and NHL playoffs as well. That video will be up very, very shortly. But I appreciate you guys. Rock with me here on the channel. Good luck, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.